Norway was found violating human rights. Jovsset Ante Sara versus Norway. In Norway, a legal battle unfolded, putting a Sami reindeer herder against the might of the Norwegian government. Jovsset Ante Sara, a member of the indigenous Sami community, found himself at the center of this landmark case. The Norwegian government, aiming to regulate reindeer populations, issued a culling order. This directive, while seemingly practical on the surface, struck at the very core of Sami tradition and livelihood. The young Sami reindeer herder was ordered to reduce his already small flock of 150 reindeer to just 75 reindeer. Sara and his family could not survive with such a small flock. He ended up fighting in court against a policy that would drive him and other reindeer herders out of their livelihood and thereby culture and inherited rights. The forced cull would dramatically affect small herders, such as the youth, implying major obstacles to recruiting Sami reindeer herders. Mr. Sara won the case in the district court and the Court of Appeal. The government appealed to the Norwegian Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court sided with the government's arguments. The Reindeer Act that the Supreme Court used in their justification affecting Sami herders, which sanctions the forced slaughter of reindeer. That act was passed against the will of the Sami Parliament, the Association of Reindeer Herders, and other Sami voices. The loss for Mr. Sara in the Supreme Court would set an important precedent regarding indigenous rights in Norway and the herders' rights. Jovsset Ante Sara filed a complaint with the UN Human Rights Committee, an independent body of experts responsible for overseeing the implementation of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, by state parties. The committee has jurisdiction to assess such cases because Norway is a party to both the ICCPR and its optional protocol, which grants the committee the authority to hear individual complaints about alleged violations of the covenant. After considering the arguments presented by both Mr. Sara and the Norwegian government, the committee issued a decision on July 19, 2024, finding that Norway had violated the human rights of the young Sami reindeer herder. Herding is an economic activity for reindeer herding people such as the Sami. But even if today only a minority among Sami are working with reindeer, herding is something in addition to just an economic activity. This element is deeply rooted in the Sami cultural identity, shaping their history, spirituality, and social structures for generations. Forcing Sara to reduce his herd, he contended, was akin to undermining his very existence as a Sami. The decision from the Human Rights Committee is shining a spotlight on the delicate balance between environmental management and the protection of indigenous rights. At the heart of the matter lay Article 27 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, a statute that would play a crucial role in the final verdict. What is the significance of Article 27 for the rights of minority cultures, and in particular for indigenous peoples? Article 27 of the ICCPR emerged as a pivotal factor in the Jovsset Ante Sara case. This article guarantees the right of individuals belonging to minority groups to enjoy their own culture, practice their own religion, and use their own language. It serves as a safeguard against assimilationist policies and protects the cultural distinctiveness of minority communities around the world. In the context of Sara's case, Article 27 provided a legal framework for understanding the significance of reindeer herding to the Sami people. The decision emphasized that cultural rights are not merely abstract concepts, but tangible practices and traditions essential to a group's identity and well-being. The Norwegian government's culling order, as per Sara's legal team, directly impinged upon this right. By limiting his ability to maintain his herd, the government, they argued, was effectively curtailing his ability to practice a central tenet of Sami culture. Mr. Sara's case had many similarities to the Poma Poma case. In that case, the Human Rights Committee found Peru violating Article 27. Miss Poma Poma was making a living from llama herding, and a water extracting project had the practical implication that she could no longer make a living from her llama herding. Norway attempted to distinguish Mr. Sara's case from the Poma Poma case. Norway's argument was that the reduction of the reindeer population was made in the interest of the reindeer herders' population rather than the mainstream society, as the situation was in the Poma Poma case. A noteworthy observation is that Norway's attempt to have a doctrine of interests did not even merit an explicit comment from the committee. Understandably, the committee took such a committed attitude to Norway's argument. It would have generated a slippery slope with many new paths to continue the paternalism that international law attempts to tame. This decision struck a chord with international legal experts and human rights advocates who closely watched the case unfold. The case highlighted the crucial role of international legal instruments like the ICCPR in protecting the rights of indigenous communities. The article implies that cultural rights are of no less significance than economic or environmental concerns, but are fundamental human rights that warrant protection under international law. Why is reindeer herding important in the Sami and their reindeer a cultural legacy? To truly grasp the gravity of the Norwegian culling order's impact on Jovsset Ante Sara, one must understand the profound cultural significance of reindeer herding for the Sami people. For centuries, reindeer have been intertwined with many aspects of Sami life, shaping their customs, beliefs, and very identity. Reindeer herding is not merely an economic activity, but a way of life passed down through generations of Sami. It dictates their seasonal migrations, influences their traditional clothing and cuisine, and finds expression in their storytelling, songs, and spiritual beliefs. The reindeer holds a revered place in Sami cosmology, often depicted as a spiritual guide and protector. The Norwegian government's culling order, in the eyes of many Sami, represented a direct assault on their cultural heritage. How are the Sami interests seeking a sustainable future? In response to the Norwegian government's culling order, the Sami Parliament, a representative body for the Sami people, and the Reindeer Herders Association, a key stakeholder in Sami reindeer husbandry, stepped forward to voice their concerns and propose alternative solutions. They argued that the government's approach to reindeer management was overly simplistic and failed to consider the intricate relationship between the Sami, their reindeer, and the fragile Arctic environment they inhabit. The Sami Parliament emphasized the importance of traditional knowledge in managing reindeer populations sustainably. They proposed a collaborative approach to reindeer management, one that involved the active participation of the Sámi people in decision-making processes. They advocated for strategies that respected their cultural practices while addressing ecological concerns such as rotational grazing methods and community-based monitoring programs. What are the implications and future expectations after this landmark ruling? The ruling is a wake-up call for legal and indigenous rights circles, setting a powerful precedent for the protection of minority cultural rights globally. The committee found that the decision requiring Sara to reduce his herd in line with the others was intended to protect all reindeer herders. Still, they find it neither necessary nor reasonable. The Sami Parliament, the Norwegian Reindeer Herders Association, NRL, and the Reindeer Husbandry Law Committee had voiced entirely different opinions. But despite those concerns, Norway had established the norms that were found violating the convention. The UN Human Rights Committee put a lot of weight to that observation. In 2001, the Reindeer Husbandry Law Committee proposed protecting the minor units with fewer than 200 reindeer. The committee's main reasoning is that the government cannot, in this way, override the Reindeer Husbandry Law Committee, the Sami Parliament and the NRL, which are the representatives of the reindeer herders. When Sara was required to reduce his herd by such a significant amount, the committee found it was not viable. This effectively denied him the right to his culture. The committee's decision in the Jovsset Ante Sara case carries significant implications for the future of indigenous rights, particularly in the context of balancing environmental concerns with cultural preservation. It underscores the obligation of states to ensure that their policies and actions do not disproportionately impact minority communities and their ability to practice their cultural traditions.